नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंदसूरये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। Revered Swami Shivanand Maharaj, Revered Swami Tanmayanand Maharaj, the members of the Ramakrishna Seva Kendra here, and the Society of the Chartered Accountants, members, dear friends, I am extremely happy to be here once again after a lapse of about 2 years, I think. Last year also on my way to Himalayas, Advaita Ashrama, where we go for recharging our spiritual battery. Dr. Amit Tarabdar, he says you have to pay the tax. So he makes arrangements for my taking me to Mayavati. In the process, I have to give a talk here. So this time also he made a condition. I readily agreed because it's a pleasure to meet all the friends once again at Bareilly. So here I am, only I am in a dilemma. There are two very senior Swamijis sitting here. What I should speak? I didn't know they are here, otherwise I would not have agreed to speak. The tradition in our Ramakrishna order, anywhere monastery tradition is, when the senior monks are there, the junior monks keep mum. And here I have been told to speak most on time management. Anyway, I'll just offer my humble pranams at the feet of Revered Swami Shivanand, Swami Tanmayanand, and pardon me for speaking to the audience here because I am bound by my promise. Now all of us know about the time management, how important it is, and now today also we have realized how important it is. What are the advantages we know, today we know also the disadvantage, and we have felt it also. If we do not manage the time, what happens? We had a first-hand experience. You know, in Japan, a particular engine driver was very much punished for becoming only a few minutes, 3 minutes late or 4 minutes late. So he said, it's only 4 minutes late I have come. Then the reply that was given to him, you have not wasted only 4 minutes your time, but there are 5,000 passengers, so we have wasted 5,000 multiplied by 4 minutes of our nation, and hence you should be hanged. You can understand what is the importance that they give, why Japan increased, why progressed so much. But in India we have a philosophy of Vedanta, we live in eternity. So that is why when it comes to practical things, we are impractical. But of course in philosophical things we are high. So can we have a balance? Can we strike a balance? Remaining at a height. You know, Swami Vivekananda used to remain at such a Himalayan height. He would go into samadhi, he would go into extra super conscious state. But when it came to the working part, he was very pragmatic in approach. Very punctual, very pragmatic. It so happened in America that sometimes he would travel by train. And when the last destination is there, the conductor asked, now the last stop has come, where did you want to stop? He said, that station is already gone long back. But he was in samadhi. He was in superconscious. He was in deep meditation. So again he has to come, take the same train and come back. This also has happened. But that is then, once he was told, when he was a little bit late in coming to the lecture, then he was asked. Then he said, you see, we live in eternity. You live in time. So for such persons, it is excused. Not for the ordinary persons who have not yet reached that Himalayan height. But even then also Swamiji was very particular that we organize the things properly. So about the importance of time, all of you know that every minute is very important. That is the importance that they give. I had a first-hand experience about punctuality. You know, there is something called Indian Standard Time. I will give you the inner secret of why this was disorganized, I will tell you. We also do the same thing. There is something called Indian Standard Time, you know. If you tell them to come at 6:30, nobody will turn up before 7. This is normal time. So what do we do there in our centers, many centers, that we give the time 8:30 spiritual retreat, 8:30 to 12:30. Exactly 8:30 we start. But what do we start? Registration. Afterwards they find 8:30 to 9 registration. So gradually they are coming. By 9 o'clock the hall is full. Then we start our program right at 9 o'clock. We know we are going to start at 9, but we tell them to come at 8:30. 8:30 to 9 registration. We have started registration right in 8:30. Or we keep bhajans, 8:30 to 9. So bhajans are going on. It creates the mood also. Exactly 9, Swamiji starts speaking. Otherwise, you know, we have to strike a balance. Some people who come early, who come in time, should not be penalized for many people who are coming late. So we have to, this is all organizing in India. We have to, if you are very particular about time, then you will become stressful. So the stress management is another topic which we will not bring here. So if you are perfectionist, if you believe in being so much punctuality, then you will not be able to go better with majority of the people in India who do not believe in punctuality. I had a first-hand experience of this punctuality, how the Western people, one of the reasons why they have advanced is, in 2004, I was invited by the Coventry University for participating in the second international conference on disaster management. As you know, there was an earthquake in Gujarat on 26 January 2001. And as is the tradition of Ramakrishna Mission, the very first day we started our disaster relief work, we collected about 20 crores of rupees and we constructed 81 school buildings, government school buildings, and we handed over to them, and 6 colonies for the poor people. So the international conference wanted to know how we could finish this work so quickly. So I had gone there for presentation. And I took this opportunity of visiting our centers in UK, Germany, France, Switzerland, etc. When I went to UK, Bonn, and we have got a center in London, there is a community, Vivekananda Center. They do a lot of work for Hinduism. In fact, they have introduced a course on Hinduism in the University of London. They wanted to organize my talk for the youth. So I agreed. The time was 6:30. Now, the normal duration for the travel time from the place where I was staying was 1 hour. But we started 2 hours earlier, knowing full well that we have to, when the impression should not be that the Indians do not believe in keeping time. So we wanted to be doubly sure. So we started 2 hours late. And it was very fortunate because suddenly you can't, trust the English weather, they say. There is a proverb. The second part I will not say. So they can't trust the English weather. And suddenly there was a storm. A very, very bad storm. So much of rain. We were not able to get this way. Somehow that person who was driving me also didn't know the way. So we had to find out the address. So it was 6:15 when we reached there in this amidst heavy rain. And then I went there, the hall was empty. So, as it happens in India when such a heavy storm, I concluded that there will be no lecture. So, the organizers wanted me to go to the next room and have a cup of tea. I said, very welcome tea. I was taking tea, 6:30, the organizer said, Swamiji, you will have to, I am afraid, finish tea quickly. Why? He said, people are waiting for you. Why? Oh, I saw there was nobody in the hall. Hall is empty. So I concluded, I presumed that the lecture has been cancelled. Who told you the lecture has been cancelled? No. And exactly 6:30 when we entered the hall is full. Within 5 minutes, 6:25 people started coming, putting the raincoat on the hanger, entering. Within 5 minutes the hall is full. 6:30 dot, the program started. 7:30 sharp, program has to end because these people will have another appointment, otherwise they will be missed. You can't take one more minute from them. So these are certain things that we have to learn from the Western society. Swamiji said what we want is Western science coupled with Vedanta. A beautiful combination of Eastern and Western culture. We should adopt good things from the Western. Of course we should take like punctuality, organizing ability. There are many more things which the West has to learn from the Eastern countries, which they are now learning, meditation, yoga and Indian spiritual culture. There has to be a blending of the two. So that extraordinary importance of keeping time and punctuality, we will have to learn from the Western society. And if you really want to know what is the importance of time, if you want to know the importance of 1 year, ask a student who has failed in the examination and who has lost 1 year. If you want to know the importance of 1 day, ask the businessman who was late by 1 day in filling the tender and losing millions of rupees in the process. If you want to know the importance of 1 hour, ask the candidate who was 1 hour late for appearing in the interview and lost a very good job. If you want to know the importance of 1 minute, ask a person who missed the train by 1 minute. He saw the guard bogie going from just in front of his eyes. And if you want to know the importance of a second, ask an athlete who lost the race by 1 second. And if you want to know the importance of 1 millisecond, ask a person who lost the game in an Olympic by just 1 millisecond. So, we have to know the importance of time. Even 1 millisecond is very important in certain situations. And the certain fundamental facts about time is of course relative. Einstein's theory, time and space are relative. Of course, Swamiji's theory of relativity is still superior, which is derived from Vedanta. Time, space and causation. Now modern scientists are trying to discover that third aspect. Time, space and causation. This is called Maya. This is relativity, which the modern science says. But that time is relative. When a person is waiting for his beloved or her beloved, 1 minute is equal to 1 year. 1 minute is equal to 1 year. And when you are enjoying somewhere in Himalayas, 1 hour becomes 1 minute. Oh, itna jaldi khatam ho gaya. Time khatam ho gaya, chalo. So, it is all relative. But one fact about time is flying. Time is flying. Second fact about is, the time that is gone can never come back. Third fact about time is not money. We have heard the proverb, time is money. No, time is not money. Why? If you lose 10 lakhs of rupees, you can get back. But the time that is gone can never come back. It is an irreversible process. The time that is lost can never come back. Can never come back. Irreversible process. Today is 28th of May 2009 and my watch shows 7:35. Now, 28 May 2009, 7:35 will never come. It's already 7:36. 7:35 will come. 29th May, PM, it will come. Even PM will come, but that will be on 29th May 2009. Never. This 2009, 28 May, 7:30 is gone forever. The time that is gone can never come back. irreversible process. And so time is not money. Time is more important than money. We are so careful about spending money, we calculate, but we don't calculate every day how much loss we are making. Even if you take it as time is money, every day how much money we are losing in terms of time every day going west. That is why time management is very important. And the whole life is going away. Whole life is going away. Somebody made an analysis of an average life, a person. He says an average person's span is about 70 years. Presuming, of course, it is not a guarantee that everybody will live 70 years. Sometimes we take it for granted. No. The time of death is the most uncertain thing in the world. Death is the most certain thing in the world. There is nothing more certain than that we will all have to die. One who is born has to die. That is number one. Fact number two is that the most uncertain thing is the time of death. Most certain thing is death. Most uncertain thing is the time of death. Anybody can die any moment. But taking it for granted that you may live 70 years as an average person, if the lifespan is 70 years, what is the analysis? Analysis says that one person who lives for 70 years, he or she spends 28 years in sleeping, 10 years for study, 8 years for holidays and hobbies and recreation, 6 years illness and rest, 5 years traveling. It is average, not persons like me whose half of life is gone traveling. 4 years eating, 3 years dressing, or of course it will be more for the other section. And 6 years for working. So, if you are 35 years of age, now you have only 3 years left for working. Supposing you are going to live for 70 years, no, this is not certain. But even if you are going to live 70 years, and if you have spent 30 years already of 35 years, then only 3 years of working life is now available with you. So this is the thing that will give you an idea. What is left with us is very, very small amount. With that we have to play the game. That is why time management is very important. And if we do not manage time, then the time will manage us, of course. And we will be in the womb of time going there once for all. And that is why Tulsidas ji says, "Do baatan ko bhul mat, jo chahe kalyan, Narayan ik maut ko, duje Shri Bhagwan." If you really want to have success in life, remember two things always. Do baatan ko bhul mat, jo chahe kalyan, Narayan ik maut ko, duje Shri Bhagwan. Bhagwan comes later. First death, remember death. Because unless until there is a fear of death, God will not. So, do baatan ko. Remember always the time is there to consume us. It is there to consume us any moment. And that is why Tulsidas ji says, "Kaal kare so aaj kar, aaj kare so ab, palma parlay hoegi, bahuri karego kab." Whatever you want to do tomorrow, you do it today. What you want to do today, do it now. One who knows at what moment you will be taken away. Of course, there is always an opposition party, So the opposite party says, "Aaj kare so kaal kar, kaal kare so parso, itni kya hai pyare jab jina hai barso." Of course, they take it for granted jina hai barso, but there is no guarantee this very moment there will be the earthquake, gone. Heart attack, gone. Anybody can die any moment. But these people, they go for procrastination. अच्छा कल करेंगे, आज क्या इतना जल्दी है, आज करे सो काल कर, and that kal can never came. If a student says that I am going to start study very nicely from tomorrow, that tomorrow is never going to come. From tomorrow I am going to do like it will never come. Whatever we have to do, we have to start right now from today. Then only we can do it. Tomorrow, and there is always a tomorrow. कल करेंगे तो कल तो फिर दूसरा कल आने ही वाला है. Again there is another tomorrow. So tomorrow will be always a tomorrow. But we have to live in the present and we have to start with the present. There was a beautiful note in Reader's Digest. Since there are so many chartered accountants present here, so I am tempted to give that time deposit. That was the heading in which the Reader's Digest told there is a peculiar bank which has got a peculiar type of deposit. What does it do? In the morning, it deposits 86,400 rupees onto your account. And you can utilize the manner in which you want to utilize. But the difficulty is that whatever money you can't utilize, that cannot be carried forward, that is gone. Next day again, 86,400 rupees will be deposited in your account. So what we shall try to do, we shall try to utilize each and every rupee. Because carry forwarding is not of any meaning, it cannot be carried forward. So that is time deposit. Every day in our account in the morning, 86,400 seconds are deposited, 24 hours. Sometimes when I say, please read the literature of Swami Vivekananda Vedanta, they say, all the students and sometimes even their parents also, what you said is very true, but we don't have time. Everybody's account, 86,400 seconds deposited. Everybody gets 24 hours. Gandhiji got 24 hours. Swami Vivekananda got 24 hours. Einstein got 24 hours. Kiran Bedi gets 24 hours. Everybody gets 24 hours only. Nobody gets a second more or a second less. But it is how we utilize this time. So that is why time management is very important. Whatever time we cannot utilize, that will go to waste. So extraordinary importance of time, that is the number one thing that we have to remember. And if we don't manage the time, time will manage us and we will be going into the womb of time once for all, and all our desires will remain unfulfilled. So we have to start from today. And two laws we have to remember. There is Pareto's law. You know Pareto's law. Pareto's law states that 20% of the items contribute to 80% of the value. Even in materials management you will find 20% of the items contribute towards 80% of the value of the items. That is why materials management, they do go for ABC analysis and try to control A and B types of items rather than C types of items. That is how materials management comes. Similarly, 20% of our activities, you reanalyze yourself. You will analyze yourself. 20% of activities consume 80% of our time. Try to find out whether Pareto's law states or not. If Pareto's law is true, and if 20% of the activities are consuming 80% of the time, by controlling 20% of these activities, you control 80% of your time. That is a very beautiful thing that comes into our way. That is Pareto's law. And Parkinson's law says, work expands in proportion to the time that is available at your disposal. Work expands in proportion to the time that is available at your disposal. You will always find time is short. Instead of 2 hours, if you give 4 hours to your office, you will find time is short. Because work expands in proportion to the time is involved. Time available. So, conversely, the work contracts depends upon the time available. So, why not contract the work? Why not have a better utilization of time? That will come through better time management principles. So, let us now try to see what are the time management principles which will help all of us, all sections of society, are, whether you are professionals, whether you are businessmen, whether you are social workers, or whether you are spiritual aspirants. For spiritual aspirants, this time management is much more important. Why? Because a spiritual aspirant wants to achieve the goal of life within one lifespan. Infinite joy, infinite happiness, infinite bliss, infinite knowledge. a spiritual aspirant wants to have in one lifespan before death, and he wants to conquer death before death conquers him. If that is the goal, then for him the time management becomes much more important. So for everybody, time management is very important. In whatever strata of society, everybody is involved. So in order that now, since our time available is very short and we have to have the blessings from the two Swamijis, what I will do is, in a nutshell only, very briefly, I will tell only the principles, and all of you will be, I am very sure you will be able to know the whole thing. Just I will give the hints only, and in order to remember, I will give A to F. Of course, I could go up to Z, but A to F will take. A, analyze. A, analyze. Analyze what are the priorities of life. Ultimately, time management is nothing but the setting up the priorities of your life. Analyze the priorities of life. In which particular activity you want to spend time. So what he did, he would not even sleep. He had achieved a very special ability of sleeping on the horse when the horse is going. He could sleep on the horse. Alexander the Great. Napoleon also could sleep on the horse, as they say. So Alexander the Great, expert in time management, utilized each and every second. But what is the net result? What is the net result? When Alexander came to India, he was told by his master, when you are going to India, please bring a very good gift for us. What gift I should bring? Oh, there are very good saints available, so bring a very good saint for our country. So when he came to India, he was searching for a saint. When he was passing through a forest, he saw a saint who was sitting on a rock, meditating. Very bright face, serene face. He was very much charmed, very much attracted. So he waited for some time. When the meditation was over, he requested, then he talked to him, and he was so much influenced and so much impressed by the vast amount of knowledge that saint had. Then he requested, please come to my country. I will build a beautiful palace for you. I'll arrange for very nice food for you, nice clothes. Please come to my country. The saint smiled and said, why should I go to your country? I am very happy here, contented. I don't need any palace. I am living under the tree. I don't need food. This tree is giving me beautiful fruits. This river is giving beautiful water. I am satisfied with that. I am very happy. I need not go anywhere. I don't need clothes because sky is my clothes. Digambar. Then the emperor said, no, I have promised my master that I will bring a good saint. Please come. No, I will not. No, you have to come. I will not come. Now, Alexander was not in a habit to listen to any no from anybody. He became so excited. He drew out the sword. If you don't come, I'll cut your head. And that saint started laughing very loudly. You fool! You want to pierce my head? Don't you know? Your sword cannot pierce me? Don't you know? The fire cannot burn me? Don't you know? The air cannot dry me? Don't you know? The water cannot melt me? I am the birthless, deathless, ever pure, ever blissful Atman. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledentyapo, na shoshayati marutah, achedyoyam, adhayoyam, akledyo shoshevacha, nitya sargata sanvachalayom sanatana. I am the birthless, deathless, ever pure, ever blissful Atman. Alexander had never seen a person who could stand on his open sword. And here is the person laughing. The reverse thing happened. Alexander himself became nervous and the sword fell down from his hands. And then the saint said, you fool, you want me to take to your country? I can see through my third eye, you yourself are not going to reach your country. And the history says, Alexander could not reach his country on the way he died. On the way he died. But while he was dying, preparing for death, he called his general, and said, you prepare a very nice grave for me because now I am not going to live. this particular fever is not leaving me. I think I have to die. So please prepare a very nice grave for me. But remember, when you put me to grave, keep my hands open. Why? Let the whole world receive the message. Alexander conquered the whole world. But he could not conquer himself. So he is going empty-handed. That saint conquered himself. And so at the time of death he is smiling. That saint has really utilized his time, his life. That is time management. Utilizing your time so that at the end of the day, at the end of the game, you don't have to regret, क्या किया मैंने जीवन में, सारे जीवन में बैंक बैलेंस कर दिया, स्विट्जरलैंड बैंक पे इतना रुपया, इंडिया की बैंक पे इतना रुपया, मर्सिडीज बैंक का ऑर्डर भी आ गया, मर्सिडीज बैंक गाड़ी भी आ गई. I can't drive that vehicle because now they are going to take me in an ambulance to the cremation ground. Latest model dress, latest model car, all the deposits, nothing will go with me. Even this body will not go with me. I decorated it, went to so many beauty clinics, but now no use. This will be the final beauty clinic, this final touch, put into the fire. After 1 hour, only 1.5 kg of ash. That is the reality. That is the reality. Whether it is a bitter truth, but it is a truth. What time we want to spend on? At the end of the day, let us not have regrets. We had utilized our time very nicely, each and every second, going here and there, opening 10 branches, getting a lot of money, but not being allowed to take even one single rupee, not allowed to take any of the car, latest model car or dress or nothing, not even this body. This is time management. Analyze what are the priorities of life. What do I want to achieve? As a human being, what is my prerogative? What is the ultimate aim of life? I ask so many youngsters, have you ever thought what is the goal of life? Yes, I want to become chartered accountant, engineer, doctor. Yes, that is true. What is the ultimate aim of life? Never thought about it. So when you start thinking about it, the first question that a driver should ask before starting the car is, where do you want to go? The first question. But you just drive and go to the airport, and afterwards, why the railway station is not coming? Oh, I thought you have to go by fare. By air. Okay, come back 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers and go to the railway station. By that time, train has left. The first question you should ask is, where do you want to go? But already the car has started 25 years back, 30 years back, and we have never asked the question, what is the goal of my life? What is the purpose of life? And that is why in the field of management, now they say, most important thing is SQ. IQ is very important, of course, for our success in life, intelligence quotient. But Daniel Goleman made a research in 1991 and said EQ is more important than IQ. What is EQ? Emotional intelligence is more important than IQ for getting success in life. But now the latest discovery is SQ. Dana Zohar, she is a professor in Oxford University. She has written the book. The name of the book is SQ, Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence. And there she says, neurologically, physiologically, biologically, psychologically, from every point of view, there is a concluding evidence. There is something called SQ, which is the basis of both IQ and EQ. And what is IQ? IQ will tell you how to play the game of life. What is EQ? Emotional intelligence will tell you how to play the game of life under changed circumstances with changed strategies. And what is SQ? SQ, spiritual intelligence, will tell you whether to play the game of life at all or not. But that is your choice. What is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? Why we are here playing this game? And where do you want to go after that? This basic question, purpose of life. Why do I am here on this earth? That is SQ. Now the modern scientists say, modern psychologists say, you must develop IQ, EQ and SQ simultaneously if you want to have a total achievement of success, happiness and peace. Then we must have IQ, EQ and SQ. And this is exactly what Einstein said in his book, The World as I See It, where he says, the true value of a human being is determined primarily by the measure and the sense in which he is attained to liberation from the self. This is a special prerogative of human beings. The Phenomena of a Man, beautiful book by Teilhard de Chardin. He was a Christian father, a botanist. His books were not allowed to be published because that went against the speech, against the religious books of Christianity. After his death, posthumously, the books were published. One of the best books that he has written is The Phenomena of Man. There he asked this question: what is the difference between a man and an animal? And somebody said, it is intelligence. Teilhard de Chardin says, not necessarily so. Why? Supposing there is a cat in your house, you find next day morning, you put some milk in your kitchen, next day morning you find the cat has stolen that milk. What do? Next day, you keep the milk not in the kitchen, you hide it in some other room. And next day you find the cat has already stolen that milk from there also. Who is more intelligent? So, animals also have intelligence. Then what is the difference between animals and human beings? He gives a beautiful reply. He says, while a man knows what he knows, an animal does not know what it knows. A man knows what he knows. An animal does not know what it knows. A human being knows how to steal the milk. But human being also knows whether I should have the knowledge of stealing or not, whether it's good or bad. That also animal. But cat does not know. Cat knows how to steal the milk. But whether stealing the milk is good or bad, that she doesn't know. Whether I should have that knowledge or not, that she doesn't know. Or whether this knowledge is good or bad, that she does not know. More importantly, cat cannot realize its own self. But human beings can realize his own self or her own self. How? By transcending all the limitations of time, space and causation. That is why Lincoln Barnett in his book Einstein and the Universe says, man has a unique capacity. Man has a unique capacity of transcending himself and perceiving himself in the act of perception. That is why Niels Bohr says, we are actors and spectators in this great drama of life simultaneously. We are actors and spectators in this great drama of life simultaneously. Ram and Ravana are fighting on the stage. But when Ravana beats Rama, he knows actually he is Ramesh and I am Dinesh. And after 5 minutes we are going to have coffee together in the green room. He knows that also. At present I am Ravana, he is Ram. But after 5 minutes, myself, that is Ramesh and Dinesh, we are going to have cup of coffee together in the green room. That he doesn't forget, so he doesn't beat so mercilessly. But the people feel he has beaten. That is, we are actors and spectators in this great drama of simultaneously. This is the special prerogative of human beings. That is why development of SQ only will lead us to that infinite joy, infinite happiness, infinite peace. That is why Kathopanishad says, Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yavidadhati kaman tam atmastham yenu pashyati dhiraha desham shanti shashvati netaresham. Who can get that infinite joy, happiness and peace? One who has realized that infinite self behind this finite self. One who has realized this, that infinite self, he alone will get that infinite joy, infinite knowledge, infinite happiness. And that is the purpose of life. To go beyond time, space and causation. And to achieve that infinite joy, to get that absolute. You may call it truth, you may call it God, you may call it Paramatman, you may call it self, whatever you may call. That supreme reality, once we get it, we get infinite joy, infinite happiness, infinite bliss. And that is the special prerogative of human beings. Out of 84 lakhs of species, according to Indian scriptures, only human being can have spiritual knowledge and can transcend his own self and can get infinite joy. No other species. This is what Indian scriptures say. But the modern science says, no, there are not 84 lakhs of species, there are 125 lakhs of species. Of course, it's not a much difference. 5,000 years back, our scriptures said 84 lakhs of species. There was no microscope. With all that microscope and cloning and all that going on, So 1.25 lakhs, not much different. So according to modern science, there are 125 lakh species, but they also say the same thing. SQ, IQ is available with all the species including the computers. EQ, including the donkeys. You know, donkey, we say he hasn't got IQ, but he has got some IQ. Maybe little less, but he has got IQ. I will not tell the story, there is no time. But beautiful stories there, how the donkeys have got IQ. There are some species who have got EQ also, emotional intelligence. But only human beings can have SQ according to modern science. So modern science also says, out of 125 lakhs of species, only human beings can have SQ. And the old scripture said, out of 84 lakhs of species, only human beings can have spiritual knowledge. So both are meeting. Now, the million-dollar question is how to develop SQ. Very briefly, Swami Vivekananda gives the gist of the whole of Vedanta in his book on Raj Yoga. Says, each soul is potentially divine. The goal of human life is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature external and internal. Do this either by work, worship, psychic control, or philosophy. By one or more or all of these and be free. This is the whole of religion. Dogmas, rituals, worships, temples, churches, mosques are but secondary details. This is the gist of the whole of thing, whole of Vedanta. This is the gist of whole of religion. That is, manifesting the divine within. How? By practice of 4 yogas in daily life. Raj Yoga, meditation. Bhakti Yoga, prayer. Jnana Yoga, the method of self-inquiry, reading good books and knowing the meaning and putting the practice. And 4th, most important for the modern age, is Karma Yoga. Converting work into worship and worship the God in man. Unselfish service brings immediate peace and also brings infinite peace in the process. So, combination of 4 yoga gives this one. Now we have to analyze and find out what is the priority of my life. Do I want to achieve infinite joy, infinite happiness, infinite peace and conquer death before I am conquered by death? In that case, I must practice 4 yogas. And not a single second should be spent in vain. Every second, 86,400 seconds can be utilized for that. How? When I am sleeping, yes. Even during sleep also, that sleep becomes samadhi if we take it as a part of spiritual practice. Every work can be converted into worship. Only we have to change the attitude of mind. Oh Lord, I am sleeping because you have given me the human being, human body, which requires sleep. So it is for you, not for me. I am taking the food, it is out. There's a beautiful song in Bengali. That is, Manaboli Bhajakali, Ichha hai tor je achare, Guru Datta Mahamantra, Divani Shijapo kare. Shayane Pranama Gyan, Ahar karo Nidrai da, Ahar karo Mane karo, Ahuti di Shyama mare. Shayane Pranama Gyan, Nidrai karo Make Dhyan, Ahar koro Mane koro, Ahuti di Shyama mare. When you are sleeping, you feel you are having samadhi. You are meditating on God. And when you are eating, you are offering the food to the God who is within. So every activity can be converted into work, into worship. Beautiful book by Swami Vivekananda on Karma Yoga says how, by living in the world, without taking up the garb of a monk, without going to forest, without going to Himalayas, how you can reach the infinite by practicing this Karma Yoga. Work can be converted into worship. So that is Karma Yoga. So these 4 yogas gives us the key. So analyze, that is the number 1 thing that is most important. Analyze your priorities and then you will find out there are certain unnecessary activities which does not lead to your goal. Of course, this is the ultimate aim. Then there will be long-term goals also you have to find out. Ultimate aim, long-term goal and short-term goal. Short-term goal is to pass the examination creditably. Long-term goal is to build a very good career. But the ultimate goal is to develop SQ and get infinite joy, infinite happiness, infinite bliss as a human being. So these have to be set, and when the priorities are set, we'll be able to better budget the items. B is budgeting. Budget is very important. We must budget. How much time I want to spend on my professional life, how much for the family, how much for my individual spiritual progress. All these activities you try to find out and budget these items. Budgeting is very important. This budgeting will you will be able to do only if you analyzed what are the priorities of life, what is the aim of your life, what are the important and unimportant activities. Try to remove the unimportant activities, and also budget your items. How much time should be given? What has to be the balance between the professional life and the family life? Some people, they are professionally very, very successful, but they are devoting almost 12 hours of their 12 hours. Out of 12 hours of good life, their 12 hours they spend in office or in professional life. Nothing is left for the family. So the family, gradually there is some deterioration in the relations in the family members, because you are giving too much. There you are getting success. Your branches are developing, you are getting good business, but your family risks are suffering. On the other hand, if you give more importance to family, your professional life suffers. So you have to have a balance. This balance will come by analysis. Once you analyze what are the priorities, or short-term goal, or long-term goal, or ultimate goal, then you budget the items. Then C, very important, is combining the activities. Multitask management, that is called multitask management, combining the activities. Supposing you are traveling. When you are traveling, what we should do? What we can do? Traveling, one thing is gossiping. What portfolio should be given by Manmohan Singh to whom? You decide after 3 hours, but it is of no use. Next day the announcement is different. What is the use? 3 hours spent. Has he asked you? Does he want to consult you? What portfolio should be given to what man? But 3 hours you discuss among yourself, 4 members, and it was of no use. Not even to the country, not to yourself, just a wastage of time. Of course, if Manmohan Singh has given you a special message that I am waiting for your advice, please tell me immediately. I am confused. Whom portfolio, what way to? It's all wastage of time. So, when you are traveling, you can combine it with good positive reading. Good books you can carry with you, which you can read. Nowadays, you have got a lot of instruments. You can listen to music, good music, and you can learn so many things during the travel also. Of course, nowadays they take laptop in the train and also start doing their business. That is also another thing. So there are so many ways of combining the activities. Of course, some people, they are expert in combining music with their bath. When they are in the bathroom, suddenly they become surcharged, and they start singing. That is their singing session, and along with the bath. Outside, because if people listen, then that will be, the impression will be down. So they are bathroom singers. Okay, they combine singing with bathing. So many items. Then you are waiting. Waiting time. Oh, you feel so bored. You are waiting. The train is delayed. Flight is delayed. Why? You carry some books. You carry some items. You start working. In fact, sometimes I feel so bad, because still only I have done half the work, and they announce now the plane is leaving. So I have to go. So I never feel that the plane was late, because I'm so engrossed in the work. So much of work has to be done. It can be done. So there are so many items that you could combine. Nowadays you have got very good instruments. When you are traveling by car, just put on the CD, listen to the music. Some people started learning Vedic chanting, putting the CD on the CD of Vedic chanting. They are driving and they are listening to Vedic chanting, and they learn the Vedic chanting. So there are so many ways by which you can combine the activities. That is multitask management, combining the activity. Most important is Swami Vivekananda gave the formula. I don't have the time to go for the detailed analysis, and that is combining work and worship. Combining work and worship. Now, we want to dedicate 24 hours for God, but we can give At the most half an hour morning, half an hour evening. We have to go to the office. Lot of work is there. What to do? Convert work into worship. Combine work and worship. How? Just, I say jokingly, sandwich sadhana. One of our senior monks said, practice sandwich sadhana. What is sandwich sadhana? You know, the mothers are here, they know how to prepare the sandwich. First they take one piece of bread, then put cheese or tomato or some other masala on that, and then another piece of bread. That makes one sandwich. Similarly, get up early in the morning. Of course, if you can't get up, don't worry. Get up early morning is very good. Brahma Murta is best. If you can't get up, whenever you get up, as soon as you get up, first thing is pray. Oh Lord, whatever I will be doing for the whole day is dedicated unto you, the work is dedicated unto you, and the fruits are dedicated to you. That is one piece of bread. Now whole day go on putting masala of work. Whole day. At the night while going to bed, oh Lord, whatever I did, good or bad, everything dedicated to you. From tomorrow I will do less bad. But today whatever I have done, please forgive me. So whatever good or bad I have done, the work dedicated to you and the fruit dedicated to you, that is second piece of bread. One sandwich prepared. And if you want, you can prepare some small sandwiches also. That is, while going to office, oh Lord, whatever I will do in the office, dedicated unto you. After coming away from the office, oh Lord, whatever I did, I had to do something. But anyway, from tomorrow I will try. What it is dedicated to you. So converting work into worship. That is what Swami Vivekananda gave the formula. That is combining work and worship. The whole work becomes worship by this sandwich sadhana. So combination of this work and worship is itself worshipping God in human beings. That is how Swami Vivekananda started Ramakrishna Mission, only to give a practical demonstration how work and worship could be combined. He gave us the formula to the monks, Atmano Mokshartham Jagadhitaya Cha. Earlier times, the mantra was Atmano Mokshartham. All the monks used to take up the garb of a monk. Why? For Atmano Mokshartham. For liberation, for mukti, for self-realization. But Swamiji said, no, we can't be selfish. Let us have Atmano Mokshartham Jagadhitaya Cha. That is, while we must have liberation, we must realize God, we must realize the truth. Why? How? By worshipping God in human beings. That is why we have so many hospitals. Lucknow we have got Vivekananda Polyclinic, so many big hospitals, 14 indoor hospitals, 90 outdoor dispensaries, 60 mobile dispensaries, and so many lakhs of patients, more than 65 lakhs of patients being given free treatment in all our hospitals, outdoor dispensaries, and there are so many schools, colleges, education institutions, 6,000 education institutions where 2 lakh students are studying. So much of tribal development work, rural development work, all this why? For worshipping God in man. We are not by which that is our worship, that is our sadhana. But we are getting extra product. Other people, poor people are also getting food. The patients are also getting medicine. Our objective is realizing God, but while realizing God, we are also worshipping God in human being, and service is also there. So Swamiji said, it is ek pan do kaj. We are doing double actions word. It will be working both ways. Atmano mokshartham jagadhitaya. That is how he has combined both Atmano mokshartham and jagadhitaya. Both work and worship. That itself is a beautiful topic, but my time is ending. So I am giving a hint. You go to the book Karma Yoga. Now fourth we come to delegate. Delegation is very important. A perfectionist cannot delegate. Why? He thinks that he is the most perfect man, number 1. Second, he thinks nobody can do the work as he is doing, number 2. Number 3, he says every work has to be done perfectly. And number 4, he is always falling short of time because he wants to do everything himself. And that can never happen because there are so many there. And then ultimately he becomes mad. Then stress develops. Why? Because he wants to do everything. Now, so I am not saying that you should delegate to others. No. Delegate not to others. Delegate at the right time. Delegate at the right time to the right person in a right way. If these 3 things are taken care of and taking for granted, the other person to whom you delegate will not be 100%. But you try to find out among the persons who is the person who will be able to best be delegated, number 1. Second, it may not be 100% perfect, but at least it will reduce load. And what work you are doing in 10 hours, the same work can be done in 1 hour. How? By 10 persons are working on that now. So within 1 hour the work is finished. So that is why this delegation, very important, but then you have to delegate at the right time, to the right person, in a right way. This itself is a big subject, how to delegate in the field of management. I will not go into detail. But you find out for yourself. And you will find when you start delegating some work, you may not getting 100% satisfaction, but lot of your load on time will be less. And you will be able to perform other good, better activities. E is very, very simple, but it is still most important. That is eliminate. Eliminate unnecessary activities. When you analyze, you will find there are so many activities which we are doing unnecessarily. As I told you, one example, discussing on political matters or trying to give advice to a person who is not ready to accept your advice. Go on giving advice and go on spending your time in finding out the solution of the problems and wasting your time. Ultimately, nobody is ready to receive your advice. And your own problem, you are not able to solve. And you are trying to solve others' problem. Prime Minister's problem you are trying to solve. But your family problem you are not able to solve. So, unnecessary activities. Then gossiping. And now idiot box has entered into our drawing room. So, idiot box, internet cheating and chatting going on simultaneously. All these have got very good plus points also. Internet is a blessing. Mobile is a blessing. All these gadgets have a blessing, provided they are utilized properly. If they are not properly utilized, they are time wasters. Very, very much high time wasters. So you find out how much time you are wasting. So this wastage of time, wherever you find these activities unnecessary, you eliminate the activities which are wasting your time. So eliminate unnecessary activities. Afterwards, eliminate necessary activities. How? From necessary activities you will find there are certain activities which are more necessary and certain activities which are necessary. Now you see, if the time is not permitting, just don't do necessary activities. Try to do more necessary activities, more important activities, and less important activities you try to delegate. Don't delegate very important activities, but you can delegate less important activities. So eliminate, first of all, unnecessary activities like gossiping and idiot box and other things, and then try to eliminate the less important activities. And F is fixing up the routine. That is the most important. Swami Virjananji Maharaj, in his book on Paramartha Prasangas, gives a beautiful hint on how to manage time and how to control the mind. He says, prepare a fixed routine. There should be time allotted for everything. Eating, see this is the time. For sleeping, this is the time. For going to office, this is the time. For everything you fix up time. And try to stick to time. You will find it's very difficult. Because the mind does not want to obey the rules and regulations. So that is why in the beginning there will be difficulty. But with great difficulty, you are able to have a fixed routine. Don't worry if you are not able to implement it thoroughly. Make another routine which will be more practical. Sometimes we make more idealistic routine, and that is why we are not able to follow it. So have a practicable fixed routine, and don't worry if you are not able to follow 100%, but have a time fixed. What happens? After some time, the mind becomes attuned and settling down time is less. Every day if you are studying 8 to 9, the mind will be ready for 8 o'clock. In our ashramas, everything is bound by time. We have early morning, we have a conch shell or bell. So everybody will go 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock to the meditation and prayer in the prayer hall. 7 o'clock, bell for breakfast. 12 o'clock, bell for lunch, and everybody will take lunch together. Now what happens? Gradually our mind becomes attuned. So exactly when 8 o'clock is our study time, 8 o'clock the mind is prepared to go for study. At 5 o'clock the mind is already prepared to go for meditation, because every day it is meditating at the 5 o'clock. At 12 o'clock the mind is ready to take lunch. Sometimes there is no bell. When we are going out there is no bell, but the inside bell rings. Then we have to tell our mind, not here. Here we are now at the mercy of the guest. Whenever they will give, we have to take. It is not ashrama at 12 o'clock. But this is how the mind has become attuned. So fixed routine has a lot of advantages. So have a fixed routine. So I have told about A, B, C, D, E, F. So my time is ending already. I have taken 5 minutes more. I am thankful to Dr. Amit Tarabdar and his colleagues for inviting me and for giving this opportunity of meeting you all. I pray at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharda Devi and Swami Vivekananda, so that with their blessings we are able to implement whatever they have told, implement in our life, realize what is the purpose of life, utilize our time profitably for our ultimate aim, for our long-term aim, for a short-term aim, and we are able to manage time properly so that we can reach the goal of life which they have told is to realize the divinity in this very life. With my pranams at the feet of Ramakrishna Mahashadari Swami Vivekananda, with my pranams to Revered Swami Shivananji and Swami Tanmayananji, with my lot of best wishes to all of you, I take leave of you. Thank you very much.